Welcome to Progressive Retail. I'm your host, Cory Mosley. We've got another great show planned for you today, including my interview with branding guru Paul Potratz, plus my segments, Don't Be Ridiculous, Here's a Thought, and The Way I See It. Oh, the mysteries of a brand. What makes a good one? What makes a bad one? It seems all brands and the subsequent marketing behind them all had good intentions to make the consumer want to do business and become a customer of that brand. It seems like there is no shortage of opinion when it comes to good versus bad, and I'm always amazed at how emotionally involved people can get when their brand is in the spotlight. What makes people passionate about an Apple product that they will camp out for a week just to get first look at a mass-marketed product? In society, people have died for brands as it relates to religion, and in our political arena, protesters are lining up at rallies and sometimes resorting to violence because they don't like a candidate's particular brand. While it might not be possible to evoke that level of emotion for your dealership's brand, now is a great time to examine your advertising outlets, financial spend, and determine if you need a brand makeover. To discuss this, I have invited branding guru and brand experience agency owner, Paul Potratz, to discuss. Paul, thank you for joining us here today.
Corey, thank you. Appreciate it.
So for years, obviously, we've known you as the digital marketing guy, the digital marketing expert. Now, I'm seeing, though, now that even your company has made a move to this discussion about brand experience. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how that works in the marketplace?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're still digital marketing. I mean, we still do digital marketing. But you think about it, we were the first really in the game of doing digital marketing, and digital marketing is still an important process. But the problem is everybody's doing digital marketing. I mean, right. Everybody's doing it. You've got guys in their bedroom that's doing digital marketing now. And so a dealer...
You can get a course probably like on Udemy for $79, how to be a master digital marketer.
But if you sign up now, it's $19.95. Right. But what's happening though, a lot of times dealers know how to sell cars, they know how to work deals, and they look at digital marketing, they feel like it's a lot like just radio advertising. I can hire any company to do my digital marketing. They're buying keywords just like they're buying radio spots. Mm-hmm. So they're confused about that, and rightfully so. That's not their forte.
Right.
So you kind of think about what's happening. You've got all of these companies doing digital marketing, all driving traffic. And let's say you're a Ford dealer and you got 15 Ford dealers within driving distance as a customer. Which Ford dealer do I choose?
Right.
And they're all spending all of this money to drive traffic to their website. So branding is critical. Branding's always been important because, I mean, if you roll the clock back and you think about it, think about different companies that we do business with and why they stand out and why we like them.
Right.
And it's all because of brand. The manufacturer is stripping the brand away from the dealers. They want all of the dealers to look the same, feel the same, everything the same. Same keyword, same website, same everything. So a dealer being an entrepreneur, they've got to pay attention to branding. And we've always talked about branding, but now we felt like it was very important that we said, hey, our company is... we're brand awareness and we're engagement. So engagement's the other part of it. You got the brand, now you need the engagement. In other words, how do you engage that prospective client?
So you're kind of leading into my next question. You've been saying branding.
Right.
So my next question was kind of, there's always this discussion about advertising versus branding.
Right.
What really is the difference today? Is that different than it was before, or what's the impact of those two scenarios?
Well, let's just define branding really quick, okay? Branding. What does branding mean to you other than, and not a logo, not a jingle, but what does branding mean to you?
It's something I would identify with.
It's emotional.
I put emotion behind, yes.
And
sure.
That's what branding is. It's emotional. How does it make your customers, and I like to call them clients, how does it make your customers' clients feel? How do they feel about you? How do they talk about you? Are you remarkable? In other words, do they go out and do they talk about you? So that's branding. And now you've got advertising. I mean, that's your radio, TV, newspaper, direct mail, digital marketing, and all that. Anybody can have that. So without the brand, your advertising, your marketing, and I'm not going to use the word strategy, you're wasting ad dollars. You're just wasting ad dollars. It comes down to the point, without a brand, the only thing you can compete on is price.
Right, well, you still can open newspapers and still see ads and on website panels, so still
right.
$1.99, $20. So is that because in most instances the dealership lacks A brand?
Exactly.
Or just because that's what we've always
The
done?
dealership lacks a brand. So if you lack a brand, the only thing you're left to talk about is price. When you have a brand and you have a strategy in place, you can talk about, you've got something built on it. I mean, for example, like we have a mutual client and he's home with a $5,000 test drive. You come in, you test drive a car, you're entered in the drawing to win $5,000. That's part of his brand, but he also has a mission statement that when you go to his dealership, and we've talked about this,
Right.
it's a completely different experience. And he's got a lot of other dealers that he's competing with, but it's a completely different experience and a completely different offer. Therefore, we don't have to talk about price. And think about how the manufacturer is changing a lot of them, a lot of the dealer, the ad covenants that they're saying, your price has to be the same of every other dealer. You can't discount it or anything else. You can't say you have more inventory. You can't say you're having a super sale or anything else.
Right.
So if you can't do any of that, what's left? You need to have a brand.
So now when it comes to budgeting, so obviously your firm's dealing with budgets all day. I look at dealer expenses and review that kind of stuff all the time. There's so many people, so many companies, so many outlets, so many media outlets vying for the marketing dollar. What right now, in your opinion, what are your guys seeing is really generating some of the best ROI as far as where you can spend a dollar?
There's two things, and it's the first thing you need to do is not look at your vendors. The first thing you've got to do is, what is my brand? So you create a true brand identity. And there's a lot of things to consider with that. The next element is your website. Is your website really converting? One of the problems with manufacturer mandated websites right now have some of the lowest conversion in the industry. So you've got to work on the conversion of your website. And conversion, that word is thrown around so much, I hate to use it, but you, as a dealer, as a manager, you've got to focus on that. What is the conversion of my website? And you need to be constantly improving it. And the next thing that we've been doing for a number of years is inbound marketing, also known as marketing automation. So you think about what that is. Somebody comes to your website, they show digital body language, you start to track them, and you
now,
talk
how am I
to them.
equating dollars to that though? So how does that factor in the spend? Like, is Facebook ads, is that generating greater ROI? Or marketing automation, is that its own separate line item? How should dealers be controlling that spend?
Right, and it needs to, so conversion of your website, that needs to be its own line item because you need to have content writing. You've got to be developing content on your website all the time. Your website cannot be a glorified newspaper ad. Here's the car, here's the price. You need to be talking to your shoppers, your prospective shoppers, about everything in the buying process, lease versus buy. I mean, all of this content. That needs to be an ongoing process. So that's a line item. Your next line item is inbound marketing automation.
So is that how some of the best dealers are maximizing their spend right now?
Yes, definitely.
In the content area.
Content, marketing, automation. Yes, definitely.
Okay.
And I mean, and then we could throw Facebook into it because you think about Facebook and the platform itself. So many people are saying, "Oh, Facebook, great conversion, great conversion." People are not going to Facebook and searching for a car, but you can generate content on Facebook based on their actual interest that can get them over, kind of think of BuzzFeed, get them over to your website. Preferably, I say, leave the content on Facebook and build your awareness of the content you have on Facebook just to generate awareness, branding, and then when that time is right, they're going to come to you.
All right, so like I've known you a number of years. You are that guy that's like up at 3 in the morning, because I've seen you on chat sometimes. You're the guy that's up at 3 in the morning, looking at data, looking at analytics, heat mapping, confetti. Some of that stuff I learned from you basically, confetti mapping and all that kind of stuff. So with all the data that you're aggregating from clients across the country, especially when it comes to websites, because that's always. I mean, it's more than ever now. People are talking about websites, and you talked about manufacturer programs. A lot of them have opened it up for other companies to get involved. What are you seeing from all this behavioral study from a website standpoint? What is the driver right now? What should the new 2.0, 5.0, 2016 and beyond website look like now?
It should be full of content. I mean, so you think about you as a consumer. And this is kind of hard because, a lot of times people are, I don't do this, so therefore. But think about a consumer and how we shop. For example, I just decided I wanted to get a new smoker. I had a friend that was into the green egg, and I'm like, he's got a green egg, I got to one-up him. And so I started doing,
Not you.
yeah, me. So I started doing research to find out what's the best smoker. I have all the have you over and everything else.
Right.
What's going to be able to let me smoke a big slab of pork or whatever
Right.
it is. So I researched it. We're talking about a smoker. We're not talking about a big investment here,
Right.
but I spent a lot of time researching it,
Right.
and that's what people are doing today. So your website needs to be packed full of content, but your website also needs to engage and talk. I mean, the technology is there that somebody goes onto the website and then the content changes based on their cookies in their computer, based on their intent, based on their behavior, and all of that technology is available. The problem is our website vendors that are in place, the vast majority of them, are not doing that.
Well, I'll tell them don't send the emails to me to refute any of that. So
Yeah.
So from the perspective of evaluation, where dealers should go, how does a dealer know? Because a lot of them are family owned and operated. A lot of them have been in business 50 years, 40 years. How does a dealer know when it's time for them to reevaluate their brand and their brand strategy?
I've got a real simple test for them to do that. What I want you to do is you go into the dealership and find like 10 people in your dealership, people that have been with you for a number of years and people that have not been with you that long, some brand new people, and put them in separate rooms, give them a piece of paper and a pen, and say, I want you to write down what exactly is our mission statement, what exactly is our brand, what exactly do people feel about us, and have them write that down. Again, don't let them talk to each other, and then read those 10 pieces of paper. And if more than 50% of them have got different stories of what you actually stand
Right.
for, and if what you stand for is we've got the lowest price or we've been in business for 50 years, you're in serious need of a brand. As simple as that. And then the next thing you can do is just send out an email. Send out an email to your database, pick 500 people out of your database or 1,000, whatever it is, and send a personal email as the general manager, dealer principal, and ask that same question of your customers and past customers. And you'll be surprised how many will actually answer you back. And if you've got all these different stories, you're in need of a brand. And then finally, go to Facebook and post it on Facebook and ask that same question, and people are going to be more than happy to tell you what you stand for. And I mean, you're going to have thick skin, but when you actually establish a brand, advertising waste will be a thing of the past, because you'll have a strategy, you'll know exactly what you need to do month in, month out. You won't be Baskin-Robbins flavor of the month anymore.
All right, finally, so we brought you on as a guru, okay?
Uh-oh.
So
scary.
I want you to
Can I
look
hit the
in.
button for that?
No, you can't hit the
Okay.
button. That's only the buttons for me. I want you to look in your crystal ball right now and tell our audience, tell our viewers, what are some of the things, what are your predictions for the future of automotive retail? Because we're recording, so now we'll be able to go back and say, hey, here's what you predicted right here in our studio on our show. So when we have you back, we can test those predictions.
Boy, there's so many. One of the ones is I'm going to say the prediction, what I hope happens, what I want to see happen, which will make a huge difference, is I'm hoping that we get serious about content. I can't talk enough about content. So my prediction is you're going to see, it's going to take a while, but you're going to see more of the automotive industry move to having more content, more videos on their website, and more pages on their website. Kind of think about how, that there's the consumer reports, even Amazon, all the reviews. So that's my hopeful thinking. Whether or not it's going to happen, I don't know, but hopefully that will be the ideal situation.
All right, well, we'll be sure to test you out. Paul, I want to thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, buddy.
Always good to see you. Now it's time for
Don't Be Ridiculous,
where the parties involved shall remain nameless, but the story must be shared. Picture your dealership's BDC, walking in and hearing people making calls, talking to customers, scheduling appointments, and driving business. Now, imagine reviewing reports and learning that one of the team members that you thought was your marquee player is losing productivity. The results are dropping and their numbers are slipping. Many would agree in that situation you would find out what's going on and coach the employee. Now, during the coaching session, you ask them about their performance and what's been happening. They tell you that they have a new system for follow-up, and it's based on their gut feeling about when it's the right time to call. To that, I simply have to say,
Don't Be Ridiculous.
If you have a Don't Be Ridiculous story, please share it by emailing us at cbtshow@corymosley.com. If we use your story on the air, we'll send you your very own Don't Be Ridiculous t-shirt. Now, here's a thought. Sometimes I believe you just have to have faith in the process. That process might be the CRM process, the email process, or the script. I love when people try to rail against the script. I always say something doesn't work because it's canned because it works. Believe it or not, there are a lot of smart people that have come before you or I and have come up with some strategies and tactics and some things that work, despite one's lack of familiarity or belief in those strategies. Finally, of all the Steve Jobs movies that were made, my favorite is still a TNT movie called The Pirates of Silicon Valley, which chronicles the rise of both Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. There's a great scene when Bill Gates has just pitched IBM on Windows and explains to them that he wants to license the software and others as well as IBM, to which IBM executives got a great laugh because to them, all the profits were in the hardware. So Gates, as I fondly call him, is outside with Steve Ballmer when he asked him, "Do you think they will go for it?" And Gates said something I'll never forget. He said, "Success is a menace. It convinces smart people that they can't lose." See, every day we hear and read news about stories where people who were so smart until, as they say, the chickens came home to roost. The Wonder Kid who was worth $4 billion a week ago and now has a zero valuation after their company collapsed. Yes, sales are up, wages are up, banks are buying, but are there decisions you should be making right now that you've put off because you are winning at this moment? Is there something new or different that you could try? Is it time to be a disruptor? Is it time to kill some sacred cows? I think right now just might be the right time. And that, as I say, is the way I see it. Thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to go to CoryMosley.com/CBT show to submit your show ideas, give feedback, or even be a guest on a future show. This has been Progressive Retail, exclusively on the CBT Automotive Network. I'm Cory Mosley, and I will see you next week.